Hello, my dear friends and dear learners. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Vinay BK, Assistant Professor, AAA Department, Srinivas Institute of Technology, Valchil, Mangalore. In this video, I'm going to explain about DC motor torque equation. So, torque, definition of torque, turning or twisting force about an axis is called torque. So, consider this wheel. So, by considering this wheel of radius r, so this wheel of radius r which acted upon by a circumferential force F. So if the rotation is clockwise. Suppose if the rotation is anti-clockwise direction, in that case, if the rotation is anti-clockwise direction, the force acted upon to this wheel is upward direction. I hope you'll understand. So now we are considering a wheel of radius r meters acted upon by a force F newtons when a wheel which rotates at speed of n rpm, that is capital N rpm. So that angular speed of wheel is given by, angular speed is represented by omega, which is given by 2 pi n by 60. This is equation number 1. So once if you know the angular speed of the wheel, so now I'll define work done. So work done in one revolution is given by force into distance traveled. Force into distance traveled in one revolution. So that force into distance traveled in one revolution is from one point to the same point, which takes distance traveled in one revolution is 2 pi r. So that F into 2 pi r is the work done in one revolution in terms of joules. Once if we get the work done, next I'm going to define power developed is given by P equals to work done with respect to time. So that work done divided by time is nothing but P. So I can define here P is given by work done is nothing but F into 2 pi r divided by time taken to complete one rotation is nothing but 60 divided by n. So that F into 2 pi r divided by time taken for one revolution is 60 divided by n. So that P equals to F into 2 pi r divided by 60 by n when n is in rpm. If n is in rps, if it will be n by 60. So I can rearrange this expression. So I can rewrite F into r as a 1 into 2 pi n by 60 as a second part. So f into r into 2 pi n by 60, this here I'm just going to rearranging the expression of power developed. Here f into r is nothing but torque and 2 pi n divided by 60 is nothing but omega. So that power is given by torque into omega in terms of watts. So going to do some changes. So let us define T is nothing but torque, TA is nothing but armature torque, or else you can say it as gross torque developed by the armature of the motor, that is DC motor. So it's also called as armature torque. So now the gross mechanical power. So I'm going to do some changes. Power developed in armature is given by, suppose this is armature along with the pressures. So power developed in armature is given by, so current flows through the armature and EMF induced in a armature. Current flows through the armature is IA and EMF induced in armature is EB, that is nothing but back EMF. So that power developed in armature is nothing but EB into IA. So that gross mechanical power developed in armature is EB into IA. So if the speed of the motor is n rpm. So now I'm going to do some alternatives for this expression of power. P is given by T into omega. Instead of P, I'll write PA, nothing but armature power, also power developed in armature, that is given by EB into IA. So PA is nothing but EB into IA. Instead of T, I'm going to write TA. That is nothing but, instead of torque, I'll represent in terms of armature torque TA. So that omega we know angular speed is given by 2 pi n by 60. So let us define power in armature, that is PA equals to armature torque TA into omega. So I'm substitute the value of power in armature is given by EB into IA. So that EB into IA equals to TA into omega. EB into IA equals to TA into omega. So the next step is I'm going to substitute the value of omega is given by 2 pi n by 60. So that EB into IA equals to TA into 2 pi n by 60. Okay. So once if you substitute the value of omega, next I'm going to substitute the value of EB is nothing but back EMF is given by 2 pi, sorry, 5Z NP by 60A. So that I'm substitute the value of back EMF is given by 5Z NP by 60A into IA equals to TA into 2 pi n by 60. So here n and n will get cancelled and 60 and 60 will get cancelled. We can get the armature torque expression. That is, a torque of DC motor is given by TA equals to 1 by 2 pi into 5 APZ by A. So 1 by 2 pi is nothing but 0.159, can calculate in calculator. So that you can get torque expression is 0.1595 into IA PZ by A, where phi is flux, IA is armature current, P is number of poles, and Z is total number of conductors, and A is number of parallel path, and A equals to P for lap winding and A equals to 2 for wave winding. So this is the expression for torque equation of DC motor. So just for your extra knowledge, so we'll do some alternative equation, or else we can get some alternative equation of armature torque. How we are getting, instead of writing 5pz by A, instead of writing this 5pz by A, I'll represent with the help of back EMF equation EB. That is, EB is given by 5p nz by 60A. So with the help of this, I can write 5p z by A is given by EB into 60 divided by n. So I'm going to substitute that in the above expression, that is 1 by 2 pi into 5 into IA pz by A. So instead of writing this, I'll write this expression to this torque equation, so that I can get 60 divided by 2 pi into EB into IA divided by n. So 60 divided by 2 pi is nothing but 9.55. So that this is the alternative expression of armature torque of DC motor. You can use any one formula to calculate the armature torque of DC motor. Either you can use 0.1595 pz by A, or else can use 9.55 EB into IA divided by n. Just look at the problem once. Based on the given parameters, you can select the formula. So I suggest you to use this formula to get the armature torque of DC motor. Thank you one and all for watching. Have a good day.